All right, it's good that we are finally able to sit down and talk about Ashen. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks for being here. So we know that Ashen is halfling. We know that Ashen is kind of a rogue. I was like calling her a shade for a while. What when you think of yourself and your kind of your class, your job, your profession, what label do you want to use?
I mean, I've really just been thinking of her as a rogue
A
with
rogue, okay.
shadow magic, but
With rogue on, with shadow magic on the down low. So
right,
okay,
right.
maybe like a shadow rogue or something. So yeah, no, that
Right.
but that works and it fits the character that you have. And I think it's fun because you think of halflings as the fun. I'm going to wear as many colors as I can, and we're going to, be going and eating all the food we can and hugging everyone. And you're like, nope, I'm sleeping like under a desk, and I don't want to talk to anybody. So I love that like opposite that we have. So yeah, let's talk about what you look like.
Ashton herself, I think in my head is sort of a cross between maybe a Wednesday Adams and that weird goth kid in your high school that's just trying a little bit too hard sometimes. Like
I
everybody's
love
got that
that.
kid. Picture that kid in your mind.
And were you like that growing up? Like, is that like out in Halfling Land, you'd like show up in your all black, like blackberry dyed clothing, while everybody else is like really bright, and you're giving people like animal skulls for birthday parties and things like that? Like,
Honestly, I don't think so. Not until she
okay,
was older, or at least up towards the version of teens that halflings start to hit.
right.
More caused by the course of her life and the events in her life than anything else. I believe her upbringing as a child started out very traditional halfling esque. Like there's, like you said, a lot of commotion, a lot of people. All the people living in your house may or may not necessarily be blood related to you, or your actual brothers and sisters are the same people that are living in your house from one week to the next. It's and I think she was probably the youngest of all of that horde of,
Oh, okay, interesting.
yeah. Um, and there was two notable things about her. One, she was the youngest. She had a brother that was a little bit older than her, that was closest in age. Um, so there was some question as to who Ashen and this particular brother's father actually was. Like,
Oh, okay.
yeah. Um,
A little drama in
right.
Halfling
Well,
Land. Okay.
I don't mean that as like a dirty dark secret. I think
Oh, okay.
there was all of her actual biological brothers and sisters, of which there were many, had single happy father. I think he passed in a normal, natural way.
Okay.
And suddenly her mother had a son. And it, it was kind of question like, okay, well, we didn't even know she was dating again. That's interesting. And a couple of years later, Ashen comes along with still kind of the same question, like, did anybody ever find out like who exactly
Oh,
he is seeing now? And
okay.
so I think it was kind of her and her brother were sort of, I don't want to say outcasts, but the eyebrows raised a little bit, not shunned, because I mean everybody's still halflings, everybody's still,
Sure.
but everybody's kind of like, okay, that's a little odd. But because they were so much younger, all the other halflings sort of grew up, had families of their own, house sort of gradually emptied out. Um, and then one day, I think Ashton was talking to her brother, and he wasn't his usual self. He was very upset. He was very, I don't know. She couldn't get any sort of information out of him. This was kind of her one friend that she had to talk to, and he was just. And the next morning, he was gone. So it was maybe a week or so later of after her brother left. I think that the shadow powers started manifesting, and
Okay.
yeah,
How
and
did they manage? Like, an out of control thing, or just weird shadows on the wall and they're moving at a weird speed? Like,
Yeah,
how
I
did you
don't think it
realize
was
that?
like the sorcerer hits puberty and suddenly there's like color sprays and fireballs. Like,
Shooting out
what
their
is happening?
ears. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think it was a did I see that out of the corner of my eye? Or which
Mm,
this room was just slightly brighter. Like that, I'm reading this book and it's a little bit too dark. How did it suddenly, how did the shadows suddenly just part? That's weird. Must have been the sun
okay.
coming out, or somebody must have walked by and turned up the lamp and I didn't notice. I think it was very, very gradual, kind of, coming into that.
Yeah.
Enough that there wasn't, it was a while, I think, before she would have thought, hey, this is something I should be worried about. Or, she was more concerned of, where is my brother? Why did he leave? And I think the start of asking all of those questions and trying to find those answers is sort of what fostered her curiosity, her ability to kind of find things out, her ability to,
Right.
nobody wanted to tell her anything. She had to kind of learn to get that information quietly. Because if she just asked outright, she was, admonished for asking questions she shouldn't ask.
Right. Right.
So it was almost like everybody wanted to just kind of forget he existed.
I mean, there's the university and the tower in town that, if you have a kid that is showing signs of magic, you go drop them off there and, there's wizards and stuff, but they're scary and you don't know what goes on in there. How did you not end up there?
I think but she just it was so gradual and she just kind of kept quiet about it. And I don't even think that it really occurred to her that that's what this was. She decided to go to the city to find her brother.
Okay.
Like that was kind of her last best lead or best guess. Like nobody's going to wander out in the farmlands generally, into the woods. They're probably going to
Yeah.
go to the city. It seemed like the best place to start.
You've got this affinity. You're like super dark, scary goth gal, but you have this affinity for like tiny, I mean, cute creatures. You have your little spider familiar, which maybe people would say is not so cute, but
Look at me,
I
where's
mean,
that?
you like the beautiful young creatures of the world. Where did that come from?
I think it was more of just a sort of a need to surround herself with more friends, more creatures, more, again, like most of her brothers and sisters were older and kind of dealing with families of their own. They were not intentionally, I don't think, shunning her because that's not really halfling culture, so to speak.
No, no.
But, her brother's a little older, he's in school, I think it was her own imagination and her own just desire for connection
Yeah,
to other living
because
beings.
you didn't really feel like you fit. That makes sense. And when this spider companion that you have, I mean, there's probably something a little bit extra special about it, that it's living a little bit longer maybe than it should. It found you and you found it, or you're not quite sure. So, um, what can you communicate with it in a simple way? Do you not quite know fully the relationship that you have, or is it just a spider?
He seems to understand me. I don't quite understand him unless he can, come up with a very clear way of communicating to me, but which hasn't really happened yet.
Like flags or something?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I
okay.
think sometimes I think I understand him, probably to his great frustration when I'm,
Yeah.
completely am not understanding what he's trying to tell me. But
But what are your long-term goals? Like, do you have any, or is it just like, no, this is what I do. I'm good. I'm happy. I'm going to do this and live day to day. Or is it like, I want to get married someday. I want to run a bakery like Kala's parents. I want to, go back and, you know, be back in
she,
halfling society on a farm. Like,
right, no, she was fairly singularly focused on finding her brother and figuring out who her father was and why nobody really wanted to talk about him. Yeah,
yeah,
the odd jobs are just kind of the means to, it's easy for me to do. It keeps me, unseen, which is, her preference. And again, she didn't grow up in the city. She doesn't have the same superstitions or aversions to the same things that people here might. I'm like, yeah, I'll go to your basement and tell the rats to leave. That's fine.
I can see, like Graham and Cy are kind of like buddies that met up. I almost think that maybe when you came to this city, maybe you spent some time in the university, and it's kind of like a Wednesday Addams thing with you and Kala as roommates. Her with her like her
I
pink
kind of love that.
skin
Yeah.
on one side, and you're doing the Wednesday Addams thing on the other side. So no, that's great because yeah, I mean, at some point, your companions here, they obviously know that you have some powers, and they're not running off and reporting you to, the city council. So, okay, so I think that gives us a pretty good baseline, so we know who you are as we're watching you trounce about in our adventures. So I want you to kind of channel Ashton for a second, and I'm going to ask you some rapid fire
Oh no,
questions
I'm not that
here.
good
Yeah,
at
I know.
improv.
This is the best part. Yeah, and these are just like silly one, two word, sentence, or like one sentence answers that, just rapid fire. What do
I'll
you
do my
think?
best. You
What
can,
do you think? Yeah,
I
yeah.
tend to rattle what I'm thinking.
It is, it is all good. We'll see what happens. So, all right. So, Ashton, what is your favorite color?
Nobody has cared enough to ask her. Um, let's go with purple so dark it's almost midnight blue.
All right. What's the most embarrassing store that someone might have seen you shopping in?
Whatever the fantasy version of the Sanrio store is.
Okay. All right. What's your favorite way to eat potatoes?
Oh, yes, all
So
of
many
them. I
ways.
know, right? That's like such a
You
wrong
just
question.
love potatoes.
Um,
They're just like a simple comfort halfling food, so you'll
yes.
eat them anyway. I love that.
Oh
Okay.
gosh, yes, yes, all
I
of them.
accept that answer.
Okay.
What is the most boring thing ever? You can't stand it.
Exposition, basically. She's just going to
Mm.
go. She's eventually just going to take off down the hill, over the thing, grab the thing, shoot the thing.
If the bad guy's monologuing, it's over. Okay, I like
No,
that. Polka dots or stripes, if you had to. Polka dots or stripes.
stripes.
Okay, I like that. Would you rather lose all of your hair or gain 50% more hair?
Oh, 50% more hair. Yeah.
Okay, you want the hair. Are dogs people?
Um, that's a yes for
Yeah.
Ashen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
Does Ashton believe in love at first sight?
Not as such.
Not as such. It says, oh, it's never happened to her.
Right. That's
Um,
fair. That's fair.
Cupcakes or cookies for you?
Cupcakes. Probably because of the cow.
And then, what's your favorite like calming sound? What's that sound that'll just calm you down?
The sound of when you're camping and everything is still, but there is a slight breeze and a slight sound of crickets and just the night is the best way that I
That
can.
background, I like that. That background night sound. All right, you made it through the 10 questions. It was just that easy. So, all right, so we know a little bit more about Jen, and we know a little bit more about Ashen now. So, yeah, I appreciate you spending some time with me, and we'll see you in the next adventure.
Absolutely.